Hi, I'm Matt Collins. I'd like to welcome you to Bob Weber Auto Mart on Douglas Avenue here in Racine, across from Douglas Park. We specialize in 1-year-old, low mileage, almost new cars. And if you'd like to stop by and see them, or see them on our website, bobweberautomart.com, we could save you between $5,000 and $10,000 on your next almost new car purchase.
Welcome into another edition of Sports Junkies. I'm Steve Sparky Fifer from Sports Radio 1250 WSSP. He, of course, Gery Woelfel from the Racine Journal-Times. And Buck season is coming up. Before you know it, we're doing some basketball junkies and, baby, having some fun.
I thought you were talking about hunting season.
No,
I was going to say that's not till November, but yeah.
So that's coming up. I can't wait.
Absolutely.
Preseason games will be here, regular season, doing some post-game shows on SSP. Looking forward to it. Time now to talk some high school football, however, and we'll start off with a rivalry game, I guess you could say. Park and Horlick. Horlick trying to beat Park in back-to-back years for the first time since 1980 and 1981.
I know. Isn't that crazy? I mean,
yes.
Like 3 decades.
That's embarrassing for Horlick that it's been that long.
Yeah, although Park had some of the best teams in the state during that stretch. So, I mean, they played some very formidable teams during that span. But I'll tell you what, Park better find a defense by Friday night.
They only gave up 70 points to Indian Trail.
Only, yeah. Get this. In their last 3 games? I mean, it's ridiculous how many points Park has given up.
They're not good. What more do you need to say? They're not good. They're one of the worst teams in the state, probably.
Okay, they have given up at least 38 points in 4 of their games. 38 points. So, okay. I mean, they got their issues on offense, but their defense is just a sieve right now. And, if Horlick has Ricky Neal coming back, their standout quarterback, they could be in big, big trouble.
I'm picking Horlick. I'm not picking
even
Park.
If Neal doesn't play.
Yeah.
See, I think
I'm not picking Park to beat anybody.
At this point, that would be the safe call.
And if you use this as motivation for yourselves at Racine Park, God bless you. But I'm not picking them to win a game. They are horrible.
And what's your take on that? Why? I mean, you know what's weird, because coming into the season, I talked to Coach Thompson, and he was actually pretty optimistic. He saw some really good things. He knew his team was going to be inexperienced, but he liked their attitude, the way they hit the weights during the off season, and he had generally an upbeat, disposition about the season. But man, they have struggled. And the first couple games, they were just plagued by turnovers, and I can understand that. But man, now they're midway through the season, and they still have the same issues.
I was told by one person injuries have hampered Park this year.
That's part of it, sure.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is their discipline. I mean, it just seems like they're making bonehead mistakes, on a consistent basis.
I feel bad for that coach, because he deserves better.
Absolutely. No question.
He's a good dude.
He's a very good guy.
That's a bad deal. Franklin at Case. Case looking to win, not 1, not 2, 3 in a row. 3 in a row.
Yeah, but are they going to do it really?
They took out Bradford last week.
This is a whole different breed now.
It's Franklin.
It's Franklin.
Franklin's good.
Franklin's good.
And they got a great quarterback that can wing it.
They do. I mean, that in the tradition of Franklin football,
right.
They love to air it out. But get this, Steve. They not only play Franklin, guess who they got the week after?
Who?
Indian Trail.
Oh, that's not going to be easy. Yep.
Then we come to the biggest game for these two Racine schools, Horlick and Case. They play each other, and whoever wins that will go to the playoffs. Who doesn't, their season's over. If things go accordingly between now and then. But that is going to be the showdown game for those two schools.
Unless Case upsets Franklin.
Yeah, then they're basically in. I mean, that's huge, but that's a tall task.
I agree. I don't think they can beat Franklin. I don't think they can. I don't think they can beat Franklin, and I don't think they can beat Indian Trail.
It all boils down to that game.
I do think they beat Horlick, but I don't think they can win these next 2 games. I think this is going to be tough. Franklin's probably easier than Indian Trail at this point. Until somebody beats Indian Trail and shows me they can play with Indian Trail, you got to think Indian Trail's going to run.
You know what? I didn't see the latest rankings, but where is Indian Trail? Do you know?
4th, I think.
In the state, they should be. I mean, they've had an incredible. And the crazy
4th or 5th.
Crazy thing about it is nobody was talking about them at the beginning of the season.
No,
they thought maybe they'd be a competitive team. They might be in the mix, but nobody projected them.
Well, they were horrible last year.
Yeah.
And they learned from their mistakes last year, because they didn't have any seniors on the team last year. They had sophomores and juniors or whatever. Now they've taken that next step. And I'm telling you, from everything I hear, Coming up behind this squad here,
Yeah.
they got a bunch of big, beefy guys.
Uh-oh.
They're going to provide some nice blocking lanes at Indian Trail.
He's done a great
this
job.
team's
down
not
there.
going away.
No. And but it'll be interesting with Horlick. I mean, their backs are against the wall. They virtually got to run the table. If they don't run the table, the odds are, they're not going to make the playoffs, obviously. But
Well, again, Pancotti and Case, considering where Case was at, if Pancotti makes the playoffs, that's going to be a great story.
yeah, he's done just a terrific job. I mean, 2 years ago, that program was dead in the water.
Dead in the water.
mean, nobody. I mean, they've struggled. But yeah, not only Pancotti, give those kids credit. 'Cause
Absolutely.
They're starting to believe in themselves.
And they should.
That they can be in games. And I think they could send a big message to everybody, though, if they beat Franklin.
It's funny. I remember
that would be huge.
I remember growing up, and Case always has some huge offensive lines and defensive lines, and they're just physically not that big right now
Hey.
up front.
I forgot to ask you, did you see who the big star for Case was last week? My guy, Tyrese Pinson.
Oh,
No, seriously, you see how many yards he had?
no, I didn't.
He had like 200 yards.
That's awesome. That's so
That's the
excited.
guy. It is, because he is like...
Gabby Ortiz, Tyrese Pitts.
No, he's one of my all-time favorite athletes come out of Racine. If every human being had his disposition, this world would be so much better. He's always happy. You walk down the hall, the guy's smiling. You walk, into a building, he's happy.
There you go.
And you know how much he weighs?
How much?
They list him at 145 pounds, right? No way. He's probably like 130. 130. I mean, he's tiny. He makes you look like a monster.
All right, other games.
what maybe?
With Scotia Central taking on Burlington. Burlington gets off to a quick start here, and now Waterford and Lake Geneva Badger.
Burlington is interesting. Like you said, they get off to a great start, and they kind of started to notice that they might be the team to beat in the Southern Lakes. But they've stubbed their toes the last couple of weeks, and they got to get this turned around. I mean, Hans Block is obviously a very good coach, and I'm sure he will. But
Well, Scotia Central's horrible too.
yeah, so
they're going to win this game.
No question.
They got hammered by Badger last week.
But they have to get back on the winning tracks. I mean, they just can't win like 10 to nothing or 10 to 7. They got to really put it to them.
Another game, Union Grove at home against Wilmot. Wilmot comes in 3-2. Union Grove comes in 1-4. Union Grove loses to Delvin 21-14. Wilmot took out Elkhorn last week 35-0. I know nothing about Wilmot, so I'm gonna go for the upset in Union Grove.
Wow. Is that the first time you ever picked Union
Grove
Grove in
at
anything?
home. Maybe.
Maybe.
No, I picked him in babasketball.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I picked him in basketball.
We're going to have to look up in the archives
Yeah.
and see this one. I don't think so. But you know what? Give Union Grove credit because they have been very competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been in games. Their record is kind of deceiving. Whether they're going to get better as the season winds down, who knows? But at this point, that team is playing basically to its potential.
Waterford and Elkhorn both come in 3-2 in their game. Elkhorn, like
Huge,
I said, coming off a loss to Wilmot.
Huge game.
Waterford wins this game.
You would think. But I mean,
You got beat 35-0 to Wilmot.
Waterford's been kind of a roller coaster team this year. At times they've looked very good, other times they haven't, and they got to find some kind of consistently good offensive game.
But the defense is going to keep you in every game.
Yeah, right. I mean,
we know this for sure.
that's Coach Blocken's
Right.
MO. I mean, he's always been an exceptional defense coordinator, so there's no concerns there. But they got to crank it up. I mean, they've been relying on Jake Bauer for most of the season, and other guys got to step up.
Jack Bauer.
Jack Bauer. No, Jake.
No, I call him Jack.
Why?
24. The show 24. Jack Bauer. Doesn't he wear 24 too, I think? No? Oh, sorry.
Who watches
Short-
TV? No.
No, I don't. Shoreland Lutheran at Catholic Central, the other game. Catholic Central always gets better as the season goes on. I'm assuming here we go again.
Yeah, they definitely got their act together. I mean, offensively, they're racking up points.
They scored 49 against Racine Lutheran.
They did. And you know what? You can kind of poo-poo that whole thing because Racine Lutheran is obviously going through a rebuilding mode. But when you score 49 points, I don't care who you're playing. You're doing some good things right. And their quarterback has stepped up. I mean, you can really see him developing. Heilenthal. He is really emerging as one of the best quarterbacks in this area.
St. Cat's At Racine Luther. In this
Best team in the county.
You said it at the beginning of the year.
I said that, and I'm not going to back down. And I know Horlick is a little banged up because of Neal, and Burlington's been kind of up and down. Waterford's been up and down. Not with St. Catherine's. They've been playing at a high level from day one, and even in their loss, to the team from Illinois, they played very well in that game. So offensively, man, I mean, they got such a diverse attack. They can certainly the running game is incredibly potent.
Right.
Those two guys, Madden and King, I'm not sure there's a better 1-2 punch.
Love them both.
Yeah, exactly. They're both really quality high school football players. And Stafford has stepped up as a quarterback. I mean, there's a question mark about how he would handle this, but he's done a really nice job. So the other thing is their defense. Everybody talks about their offense because they're scoring a ton of points. Their defense has played very well. Get this, they got 5 guys that have 28 or more tackles. I mean, that's really, really good.
It is.
For a defense. I mean, it's not just one guy dominant in your defense. It shows that they're playing as a unit.
He is Gery Woelfel of the Racine Journal-Times. Steve Sparky Fifer. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Sports Junkies. The exhausted Greg Geeson, other side of the camera. He's done a great job being the executive producer in between naps.
Greg, wake up.
Enjoy the rest of your day here
He's exhausted.
at RacineSportsZone.com.